this was a lovely day yesterday, and I suppose the thing that stands out was the turn of phrase that Her Majesty used. It was her sincere wish that Camilla be known as Queen Consort, and really, you just can't argue with that, can you?
Well, it does try to draw a line under a question, of course, that's being raised really ever since Charles and Camilla married. Would she one day take the title Queen? Would, in fact, that be accepted by the British people? And the Queen is trying to resolve that now, reflect on the fact that Charles and Camilla are very much a partnership. They've been incredible supporters to the Queen. And she's now giving her blessing, but also hoping to resolve the issue that one day Camilla will be Queen, not Princess Consort as was previously suggested, but Queen. And in that sense, acknowledging the role that Camilla plays for Charles, similar to that of Philip, a key supporter, a key ally. And I think the Queen's just reflecting on the fact that you can't do that job alone. And she wants Camilla absolutely officially, as well as personally, to be by his side.
Professor, just so we're clear on this, officially, it will not be Queen Camilla. She will always be known as Queen Consort Camilla. Is that right?
Well, her official title will be Queen Consort because, of course, she won't be the reigning queen, but she will be, for all intents and purposes, Queen. And so, yes, she'll be referred to as Queen Camilla by right of her husband being King Charles.
Yeah, so just so we know this, because this is going to affect people like us a lot on media programmes where we have to do. So today, King Charles and what would I continue with?
Queen Camilla, you'll be fine. Don't worry. That's good. You'll still get your knighthood.
Good. Thank you.
I mean, look, I hate dredging up the old stuff because, you know, quite frankly, it's bygones be bygones. But it is remarkable how really she was vilified by the British public for a long period of time. And now she is being embraced. And is that just a change in society's attitudes to divorce? Is that just the passing of time? Or is that, do you think, the fact that she hasn't put her foot wrong? And really, the Queen is sort of accepting of duty and saying someone who's worked this hard deserves everything that comes with it.
Very happy.
And she makes her son happy. Yeah, what is it that has won everybody over?
Well, you're right. She hasn't put her foot wrong. I mean, she's been very respectful of the memory, really, of Diana in those early days, trying to just really keep out of the way, just quietly supporting Charles, not push herself forward. She knows she's not the kind of glamorous kind of woman who, you know, young woman, of course, that captivated people like Diana. She offers something more mature for Charles, but also she has over time done more. She's done a lot for literacy and osteoporosis and violence against women. But I think the point you make is an interesting one, because I assumed that, you know, time would have moved on and time would have healed and a younger generation wouldn't have remembered Diana and all the baggage that we have of that famous phrase, there were three in the marriage. But actually talking to younger people, my undergraduates, for example, they watch The Crown, and so they're kind of horrified by Charles and Camilla and the way that they treated Diana. And that's now been dredged up in a whole new way, which is quite interesting. So I think the passage of time for many people has kind of healed and moved on. But for younger people, they're incredibly agitated by it. I mean, their love for Diana, it's quite remarkable. I said, you weren't alive for her life or death. And they said, yeah, but, you know, look at how she was treated. I don't think this will be significant. I think people aren't going to have a massive, you know, outcry of opposition to the prospect of a Queen Camilla. But it's also true to say I don't think neither Charles or Camilla are going to command the level of affection that the Queen does, not least, of course, because her reign has gone on for so long. She is this remarkable figure, both enigmatic but also incredibly familiar to us.
I do think The Crown, though, you know, obviously it's fiction, but what it did do was it painted this picture of the love story between Charles and Camilla that, you know, how was going on behind the scenes. And it's interesting that you say young people have been outraged, freshly outraged by the whole treatment of Diana. But for me, having lived through it, only seeing the Diana trauma. It was interesting to see the love story behind the scenes. So there's a kind of flip to that, I suppose. I just wanted to ask you, before we move on, is the choice of words again from Her Majesty, when the time comes, obviously talking about her passing. So I think yesterday was really poignant, wasn't it?
Or her retirement.
Her retirement. But it wasn't.
Although I don't think she's going to retire, no matter how infirmed she would.
Well, exactly. She renewed her commitment, didn't she, whether my life be short or long. But, yeah, when the time comes, it's a reminder she won't be there forever, will she?
No, of course she won't. And actually looking at those images yesterday, I mean, you know, although there was a very clear sort of sparkle in her eye and her sense of humour there absolutely on display, she looked incredibly frail. She was there with a stick. She's obviously sort of lost some weight, has really just sort of shrunk a bit, even further from the diminutive figure that she is. But yeah, of course, I mean, she suffered this year the loss of her husband, Prince Philip. She's also suffered the loss of a couple of ladies in waiting, older women who have been close to her for many years. I mean, in that speech that she sent to the COP's conference, she, you know, talked about, you know, we don't live forever. I mean, and her mortality is, you know, there for all to see. She's acknowledging that. But I think she's now reflecting with pride that she has secured the succession. She has her son, Charles, and Camilla there to succeed her, but also William and Kate. And in recent speeches, she's very much focused on the four of them and the work, particularly that Charles and William have done for the environment. So I think she's probably in a reflective mode. I mean, clearly yesterday was the accession day, the death of her father, and so that is always a day for reflection for her. But I hope that this year she'll reflect on a job well done, and that when the time comes, as far as she sees it, she's done her bit and the succession is secure.